Backwards Moon by Mary Losure. Chapter 1. It was a good day for flying. Pale blue sky, wispy clouds, gentle updrafts. It was also the last ordinary day before everything changed forever. Nettle didn't know that, but then you never do. Bracken, her cousin, wanted to visit the marmots. "We can just talk to them," said Bracken. "What's wrong with sitting and talking?" "On a day like this?" said Nettle. "On a perfect day for the Raven game?" "Fine." Bracken sighed as they glided over the least and middle meadows. Soon they were flying towards slopes of bare, tumbled rock. Like all witches, they had deep violet blue eyes and black hair. They wore it in 2 long braids, which was the way you did before you turned 15. Nettle was small and quick and stubborn. Bracken, even though she was older and taller, tended not to argue with her. They flew higher, toward dark fir forests. In the distance rose the jagged, snowy tips of the mountains that ringed the valley. "You call the ravens," said Nettle. "You're better at it." Bracken gave a piercing whistle. A moment later 4 ravens lifted out of the forest. "Nice," said Nettle softly. She and Bracken bowed their tall, pointed hats in greeting. Then ravens and witches spiraled upward into the dome of the sky. Nettle liked the raven game. There was a rhythm to it. Dive, soar, dive. Nettle's stomach always dropped thrillingly before she shot back upward. Sometimes, as they dove, they let themselves tumble over and over in the air. The ravens always laughed their throaty raven laughs, their claws extended in a most undignified fashion. They did it over and over again, until everyone but Nettle tired of it. Then the ravens looked at each other, gave a few parting caws, and flapped away. "Did you ever notice how they never say anything?" said Bracken. "I wish at least sometimes we could talk to them." "You can't talk to ravens," said Nettle. "They won't stay still long enough." "I wish there was some combination of ravens and marmots." Nettle raised her eyebrows. "Flying marmots? Tunneling ravens?" "You know what I mean," said Bracken soberly. "Someone who would talk to us and be fun to play with." "Yes, well," said Nettle, looking away. They hovered for a minute, their faces still, and Nettle knew they were both thinking the same thing, how all the other witches in the valley were long past any kind of game, except the kind you play sitting round a table after supper. They were not just old, they were very old. Some were hundreds of years old. It was late now. Shadows had spread across the rock slopes. Soon the mountains would be silhouetted against the glowing sky, their snowy tips tinged with pink. "Maybe tomorrow we can play catapult," said Nettle. "Catapult works fine with just 2. Bracken nodded and pulled her black hat low on her forehead, not to stop it falling off, because it wouldn't, being magic. It was just something she did when she was thinking about the way things were. Nettle pulled hers down too. Then, with one motion, they wheeled their broomsticks toward home.